Hi, I'm David Gross with Condé Systems, back with you to share a little bit of my wisdom for sublimation success. Well, today, in front of me, you'll see our two foundation printers for desktop sublimation, the Sawgrass SG 400 and the Sawgrass SG 800. Purpose of this video is to share with you a little bit of insight into proper understanding and using the front panel of these printers. Again, you got a lot of switches and buttons, and just want to go over with you the common kinds of questions we get in the situations that might occur with the front panel. So what's the front panel on these printers? Well, really there are three things to it. One is it's got a little display, which we'll show you. Number two is you got some buttons, and then the last is you've got a little blue light there, and you got a place for a red light as well. So what I want to do is walk you through the kinds of things that I think every sublimator needs to understand with the front panel. Here's my first tip, and that is if you encounter a message on the front panel, for instance, you get a service required message, something like that, what I'd like you to do is document it. And the reason is typically the message says to turn the printer off, and maybe when you turn it back on, thank goodness it's cleared. Well, bottom line is we'd like to document that, and there's two good ways for you to document a message or a situation on the front panel that you don't understand. Number one is write it down. And then number two is take out your smartphone, take a picture of the front panel, and you've got your record of that. Because I can tell you, countless times people will call us saying, I got an error at my front panel. We ask them what it was and they can't recall it. So it's going to be real important, especially for your sublimation diary if you're writing things down. And that's the very best way that you can keep from making the same mistake over and over again, is simply to document it. All right, so let's get started. We're going to be looking at that front panel. I'm going to cover the basics and then show you a few of the common errors. All right, we're at our front panel here, and what I want to show you first is the display. The display really communicates sort of five things about the status of the printer. The first four is each of the colors: black, cyan, magenta, and yellow, and the bars indicate how much remaining ink is left. So when there are no bars, that means the cartridge is getting close to empty. This fifth one is for the waste ink tank, or the ink collector unit, and when there's lots of bars here, that indicates that the ink collector unit is now full. You will get a message showing you, it'll say something like prepare new ink collector unit when that's getting full. I want to show you what happens when I replace the ink collector unit, and so I'm going to open the door here. The ink collector unit is at the bottom here. We're going to pull it out, and I can feel that it's a little bit full of ink. I'm going to put a new one in, and then I'm going to close the door, and quickly you'll see where now there are no bars at all, indicating it's completely empty. All right, so then now I want to show you what happens when a cartridge needs to be replaced. So I'm going to put an empty cartridge in right here, and so we're opening the door. This happens to be a cyan cartridge, so I'm going to pull the old one out. And I'm going to purposely put an empty one in there just to show you the effect of it. It'll take a second to realize that it's empty. Now on the display, what you see now for the cyan is you see a down arrow key that's indicating that that cartridge is empty, and it indicates obviously which cartridge to replace. And so we don't want to replace cartridges until they're empty. This printer is very capable of using all the ink that's in a cartridge, so you want to wait for that message. You don't want to replace a cartridge when the message says low ink. That's just not a good thing to do. With one exception, if the ink has reached its use by date, yes, you would want to replace the cartridge even if it has ink in it, and by doing that it preserves your color balance and also maintains print head life. So I'm going to put the new cartridge, the cartridge that does have some ink, back in. And you'll see in just a second, make a little noise here, and then we're back to an operational state. So the first thing I want to show you that everybody needs to know how to do is to perform a nozzle check. And the printer, as far as the printer's got to do a little work too after we change the cartridge. All right, so we're ready. Let's move now to the buttons so you're familiar with each of the buttons. So the front panel layout is really just a few buttons. The first thing to indicate is the power switch, and we've got a blue light here. By pushing and holding the power switch for about 2 seconds, it'll turn off. And then these are our navigation buttons for using the front panel. The down arrow key and the menu key are both the same. This is our enter key. Once we get to an item, that's how we execute that item. And to back up, we use the escape key. So what I want to show you first is just how to do a nozzle check. So you're going to push the menu key, and it'll show counter. Then we're going to go down until we see maintenance. Okay, maintenance. And then we're going to push the enter key slowly 3 times. 1, it'll say nozzle check. 2, it's just going to confirm that it's going to print a nozzle check. And then 3, it will print the nozzle check. Nozzle check lets us check on the health of the printer. It uses the printer just a little bit to move a little bit of ink and that kind of stuff. So now that we've finished our nozzle check, to put the printer back online, we're going to use the escape key. And we'll push it 2 times and we're back. These other keys here are what we would call keys when something happens that is unexpected. So I want to give you an example. So if, for instance, we accidentally printed and received like a paper jam or a misfeed, often we can push the form feed and it will push the paper out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put legal paper into the bottom tray here, and I'm going to do a nozzle check. And what that's going to show you is it's going to jam. It's going to have a misfeed. And the reason is the nozzle check needs a piece of letter size paper, not legal. And I'll show you the results. So first is I'm going to open the tray, and we'll put some legal size paper in the tray. And then we're going to do another nozzle check to show you the results. All right, so we're going to push our menu key down to maintenance, enter 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, so now the piece of paper is stuck in the printer. The printer is, of course, a little bit irritated at us. In just a second, it's going to display a misfeed message. All right, so we've got our misfeed message, paper misfeed, and then it says press form feed key. So this is our way of getting the piece of paper out of the printer. And we just push the form feed key, and our paper comes out. I'm going to show you how to use the job reset key. Very powerful feature for stopping printing so you're not wasting paper. So let's pretend like we're going to print 5 copies of a job, and we discover something wrong after the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and start the job. The blue light will start blinking, indicating that there's an active job. Okay, so I'm going to got the first page going through. I'm going to pull this out. So I've stopped it from wasting any more paper. It's still printing that first one. So this is where technically I would discover, hey, something's wrong with the job. All right. So now then, I've got an active job here, and the way I clear it is I'm going to push the job reset key, and then I'm going to push the enter key. And it will flush the job, so it's going to continue flushing. It's got 4 more pages to flush. And then it will return to a ready state as soon as it has flushed all that data. Now, it's a wise thing to do at the computer to also flush the job. Now, I want you to look at this blue light here. If the blue light is blinking, it means that there is an active job inside the printer, and until the blue light goes solid again, you're not able to submit a new job. So on a few rare occasions, you'll need to use the job reset key and then push the enter key just to get the blue light back to a solid state. So with the blue light in a blinking state, that means something is happening at the printer. Okay, I want to cover how this paper tray can be adjusted to accommodate larger paper sizes such as legal. And I do recommend you watch my entire tour videos for the SG 400 and 800. So this paper tray can be adjusted to accommodate smaller paper sizes like our mug and our insert papers, and also can be adjusted to accommodate larger papers. The way you adjust it is we pop these little tabs to the side, and then this expands like this, and we lock the tabs back in place. And now with our legal paper, it can slide right in like this, and with our backstop here, we can orientate the backstop back, and we're done. So that is how we would adjust the paper tray for larger paper size. Now the good news is when you do this, you don't have to put it back into its smaller sizes for letter paper. So you just adjust this backstop here. Now to be brief but complete, the width of the paper tray is adjusted with this. And so this allows us to print with, say, some of our Mug 11, Mug 15, our insert papers, and those are just an incredible time savings, labor savings, and for people like me that are left-handed, I don't have to cut paper. So this gives you an overview of the amazing power of this adjustable tray. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you. One tip to remember, and that is document. Document your success, your failures, document your questions, document your errors, and that way we can serve you best. Well, this has been David Gross with Condé Systems. Till we meet again.
There are so many videos for you to watch, we don't want you to miss out on a single one. So click here to subscribe to Condé TV on our video channel. Click here to like us on Facebook so you don't miss out on anything. And click here to visit this product's webpage.